Hello, and welcome back, everybody, to the Wednesday production from Burn Your Boats. That's what you get Wednesdays. Today, and this week, I'm going to be talking to you about the impact of your choices. And that's typically what we do on these Wednesdays, right? We discuss what it is that you're doing that will either result in positive change in your life or that will result in you getting the same results that you have been getting. And so this week, I'm going to be talking to you about how the world that we live in today really allows for us to exist peacefully and without much stress or without much fear if we don't actively pursue it. The world actually allows us to do this in a way that's relatively easy. So what do I mean by this? What are we talking about? Some real world examples of this are, the typical go-to for fear for most people is public speaking. It's pretty cliche, but it's cliche and it's kind of played out for a reason, and it's because it's very real. It's a very difficult thing for people to do. If you're not used to it, if you haven't stepped out and done it. And the thing is, engaging with a large group of people and speaking in a way that actually captures their attention and where you relay either something valuable or something funny or something entertaining, that can be difficult, and it also isn't necessary for many people to function well. Or not to function well necessarily, but to get through their day and to make a living and to provide what they need for either themselves and their family and their friends. And so why put yourself in a position where you're not comfortable if you don't have to? And that's where we find ourselves a lot of the time now, is that we get in these comfortable, not necessarily a rut, but we get in these comfortable routines and habits that allow us to stay where we're at, and we are not propelled and we are not incentivized to go into these uncomfortable spaces to grow. And I think one of the most important things to identify about this, and kind of the why behind why it matters, is that you can look at things that make you happy and you can look at things that satisfy you. And if you look at something that makes you happy, eating a bowl of ice cream can make you happy. Eating a delicious dinner can make you happy. Seeing a good friend can make you happy. But it's not many of those things that can leave you with a thorough, deep sense of satisfaction. I think that is what a lot of people are missing, and it's something that cannot be attained without struggle. And the more difficult a task, or the more struggle that exists, whether that struggle be cast over a long period of time, or whether that struggle is concentrated for a very short period of time, either the duration or the intensity or both of those will dictate the level of satisfaction that is available for you and just waiting on the other side of that struggle. And that is something, it just cannot be attained without that struggle. And so when we talk about embracing the uncomfortable, a lot of times in this day and age, like I was saying, you have to actually go out there and look for it. And so a lot of times it's not even available in our daily routine, because we've built our days and fortified it so much to repel instances of those. And we've also used our personal narrative and our personal brand, and because that's one of the things, whether you believe it or not, everyone has a personal brand, and your boss knows it, your friends know it, and there's a level of expectation from you in certain regards. If you're somebody that is comfortable giving the or hosting the meeting, the weekly meeting, and you're the one who facilitates it and gets everything set up, and you know how to do it, and you're good at communicating and facilitating it from one topic to the next, you're looked at as that guy, and that's part of it. And if you're not, you have put yourself in a position that's clear, and so people don't look to you to be able to accomplish that. And as long as the other people that are there are able to accomplish that task, you won't have to be concerned with being pointed to be the guy to step up and to stand up in front of everyone and to guide the meeting along. So with opportunities, with those situations come opportunities. Any situation where there's potential, where there's safety there and security, actually leads to the potential for change and for growth. And that growth is available through the discomfort. And so if you haven't led one of those meetings before, or you haven't stepped up and spoken in front of a group of people before, look for opportunities to do so. And that's just one example. The discomfort could be a million different things, and it's just those things in your life that you've allowed to go by, and that you are able to operate just fine without. And like I said, you could be happy, you could find that state of happiness there without it, but what are you missing? And because at the end of the day, I think that we're looking at our lives, and we're all kind of saying that there's something more, and especially if we've really dug in this nice, comfortable existence, we're really asking, like, what else is there? Where's the meaning in everything? And for me, a lot of the times the meaning comes from growth and from constantly pushing and progressing. And so look for those opportunities to grow. Look for those things that scare you. And I know for me, a lot of the times, like in my own, personally in my own story, I know that when events would come up where people were lined up for an individual event, and people would go one at a time, I would always be nervous to go first. And I know that my nerves would build up, and so I wouldn't want to go last either. I would want to go somewhere in the middle, so that way I could see the way that other people performed, and then I wouldn't have to wait until the end to let the nerves build up so much that it affected me negatively, and then I would go. And so I remember there was a time when I just decided to start taking life by the horns, and just grab on and just dive in. And so I remember specifically I was in Arizona, and I was participating in the German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge testing, and I was a junior leader at the time, like a freshly promoted sergeant, and I had the opportunity. Basically, everyone showed up at the gym to do the swim, and the swim was the one event that broke a lot of people and eliminated a lot of people out of the running for the badge, or it reduced their the type of badge they would get, because they had it categorized in gold, silver, and bronze, and so they would reduce what they were able to get because of that one event, or completely eliminate them overall. And I remember I had been going to the gym, and I had been practicing, and I had been training, and I had been working with a lifeguard there, and she was showing me proper breath control. And because I'd always swam, but I never really, I never knew technique. I would swim with my head above the water, doing the breaststroke or freestyle and everything. So I learned how to keep my head in the water and turn it up and do the whole fancy swimming thing. And I was never got great at it, but I definitely swam the test run enough times to build the confidence to know that as long as I was able to keep my breath controlled right, I would be able to qualify for the highest badge available in the swim specifically. And so when the opportunity came up in the morning for the swim was there, they asked who wants to swim first, and so everyone was kind of bashfully looking around, looking at the ground, looking at each other, and I stepped up and jumped up right away and was like, yep, absolutely, I'll do it. And they're like, all right, cool, let's go. And so I jumped in and started swimming, and I did it. I knocked it out, no problem. And it was a conscious shift for me, and it was something also too that I had recognized about myself, and so that's something for you too. I'm not telling you tomorrow that you need to go out and dive into the pool of your own discomfort, essentially, but to identify, the first step is introspection, and to identify what it is that you can change, where the discomfort resides now, where you can turn around and you can make that change, and you can find growth there, and then you can prepare for it. And so if it is public speaking, then you come up with where it is that you want to public speak. What do you want to speak about? You do research on the topic, and you rehearse, and then you can do it in front of a friend or a couple of friends, and then you get up and you do it in front of in front of the audience that you know is available to you. And that way, you've had your repetitions in, you have the confidence, and you've changed the course of your life. And I'm telling you what, like, I can speak from personal experience that when I got done with that swim, and after I get done with any public speaking engagement, the level of satisfaction that's there is tremendous. Happiness does not properly quantify or qualify the feeling or the emotion that I have after I accomplish something that requires a lot of effort and a lot of work. It's satisfaction, and it's a feeling of accomplishment that would not exist otherwise. It does not exist without struggle, and that is why struggle exists. They're all tests. It's all just opportunities for you to take action and to grow. And if you choose to take the preparatory steps, you can and then dive in, you can really find a lot of growth and a lot of satisfaction, and people will see that, and you'll attract those types of people into your life, and you'll be desired in people's lives that are worth being in. And I think that's something amazing, and it can radically change your future starting today with that one step, with identifying through introspection something that you have been avoiding that you know is available to you. And if you want to continue to live in comfort, then the life that you have now, with the modicum, the small portion of satisfaction that you get from the things that you're already comfortable with doing, then that's what you get. If you're satisfied with it, then have it. That life is yours. But on the flip side, the life of growth and satisfaction and the feeling of accomplishment and the feeling of pride is there. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for you to commit and take action. Thanks again, everyone, for showing up for another week. Also, for a little bit of house clearing at the end, or housekeeping, a little bit of housekeeping here at the end. I think I should have the pictures up of the glasses. I have two tall, I believe, 16-ounce glasses with the Burn Your Boats logo on it, and I got two of the shorter 8-ounce glasses available, and they're all here for a raffle, so I'm going to be raffling them off one at a time, and I'll let you know. You can use this show, this recording, and this release, and share this. You can share a past episode, or you could share the one that's coming up on Friday of Alex and Matt DeBase. An amazing interview and conversation that I had. And actually, ironically, this That's What You Get Wednesday was actually inspired by a follow-up interview that I had with Alex by himself, just me and him, long distance, last night. We talked a bit about fear and in the scope of stand-up comedy and what have you. But it was a phenomenal conversation, both of them. The one that's coming up this week that everyone will be able to listen to. But yeah, I just want to, if you're willing to put this show out, to get Burn Your Boats out there, and you can use whatever one speaks to you, tag some people in one of the episodes, or share one of the episodes, and I'll provide the links to the show itself in the different podcast mediums here, and you can go ahead and get the word out there. And thanks, everyone. I really appreciate the support. I look forward to seeing you here again next week for another edition of That's What You Get Wednesdays.